Buddy, put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Dukes Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Dukes Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
This is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on the Michael Dukes Show, broadcasting live across the state of Alaska on this, your favorite radio station and or FM translator and around the world at michaeldukeshow.com and the internet, where you'll find the audio-only live stream, links to our podcasts, and, of course, all the social media streams as well. Today is November the 11th, 2022, and it is Veterans Day, my friends, the day that we remember all those who served us here in these United States defending the cause of liberty.
Yeah. I said,
Thank you to those who served. Thank you to those who have given all in the pursuit of liberty and the pursuit of freedom. We thank you, each and every one of you. All right. Now that I got some dust here in the studio, we appreciate you guys coming on board for this Firearms Friday. We got a lot of things to talk about today. Some of the things that are going to be coming out of the elections that we've seen here, because there was only the pink tickle instead of the pink tinkle, I guess is what it was, instead of the red wave is what we were saying. That's going to have some ramifications. That's going to have some interesting ramifications on gun rights and the fight over guns here in the short and in the near term and then in the far term as well. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to open up our phone lines and do a little Q&A. We'll do a little discussion on that. And if you want to thank a veteran today in calling up and talking to us during the Q&A for that, feel free to do so. It is a good day for that, to remember veterans and all that they do and the sacrifices that they make for that. So we appreciate that. All right. Oh, and then sorry, it's just like an hour or two. I'm almost there, almost 100%. Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion, season 4, will be joining us in hour 2 to give us a recap on what his thoughts are on the national election and what it means for guns and gun control and the battle over firearms. And we will then finish up with Willie Waffle from wafflemovies.com. And we will talk about all that here in just a little bit. How about that? We got it. We got a full show today for you. It's going to be fun stuff. I want to appreciate you coming on, and I want to say thank you, by the way, to our friends over there at Satellite West who help sponsor the program. SatelliteWest.com is where you go, whether you're down in Cake or Chickaloon or Chicken or Chilcoot. I mean, wherever it is, Cantwell, all the C words, anywhere in the state that begins with a C, they can find you a way to connect with the world. Now, whether that's a text message or sending an email or surfing the internet or making a phone call, Satellite West has got you squared away. Again, go to satellitewest.com and find out how you too can connect to the Iridium Satellite Network and be in connection wherever you are. Craig, there you go, Craig. Cake, I already said cake. Wherever it is, Satellite West will get you there. Special thanks to them for sponsoring the program for today. So we say thank you to them for that. All right, so headlines. Who's got your headlines? A bunch of different headlines today, including some discussions on what is coming. We're already seeing it. Michigan, now that they have taken back control, the Democrats have taken control of the state legislature. Michigan, with the blessing of voter, is now going to be looking at adding some new gun control to the agenda. Co-chairs of the Michigan State Democrats campaign arm, State Senator Jeremy Moss of Southfield, described the wins in the state legislature as being an affirmation that, quote, "This is the time for a new majority in Michigan. We ran a campaign on issues that actually matter to people in our state, reducing gun violence, protecting bodily autonomy, abortion rights, and securing voting rights for all Michiganders. Republicans instead doubled down on homophobia and transphobia and found their out-of-whack priorities soundly rejected by the voters. The majority is a victory for everyone." So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what's happened. This is similar to what happened back in 2019. Democrats in Virginia took control of both chambers, and that was the first time they'd had control of both chambers for decades. And they decided to just unleash the floodgates with more than a dozen gun control measures. And that was a bit of a mistake because in response to the anti-gun legislation, more than 100 counties and towns across the state declared themselves Second Amendment sanctuaries. So Michigan Democrats might be getting ready to do the same thing. I mean, they're projected to have a 2-seat majority in both the House and the Senate, which that it seems, it's not super thick. It's not like a 3/4 majority or anything, but they still are going to have to work across the aisles. It'll be interesting to see what they bring to the table. But this is just the first step in the post-election process. This is the first inkling of what's going on. Secondly, we saw in Oregon, they had a bill that was passed, which we're going to talk about here after the break and some phone calls, but they had Oregon's Measure 114. Now, technically, it's still hanging up in the air, but I mean, it's getting closer. It's getting closer. It currently is 50.8 to 49.2%, but there's 3/4 of the votes have been counted, but more are coming from Multnomah and Washington counties, where it's probably going to be a little bit higher support for this. We'll talk about this bill here in a minute, though. But these are just some of the repercussions for what's coming. Let's go over to the phones, and we will take a call here and see what you guys have to say. I guess I have to mute it before I unmute it. Let me go over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning. This is Bonnie in North Pole.
Good morning, Bonnie.
Well, I wanted to speak about and talk about that my father, Edgar Fleischer, who served during World War II in the Navy, and he's passed away now.
Okay.
And,
well, we thank him
I
for.
find it really hard lately. What he must be thinking about what's going on here in America. It's very sad sometimes for me.
Yeah.
It's very sad. To me, it's like socialism and communism has taken over. And it's maybe other people don't think that way, but I do lately. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, Bonnie,
you have a good day.
Thank you for sharing, and thank him for his service. And I mean, they call him the greatest generation for a reason. You know what I mean? So
yes, he was.
Yeah. All right, Bonnie.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in on this Veterans Day, and thank you to your father for his service, and thank you all for your service in whatever conflict or war or peacetime that you served. We appreciate your sacrifice. We're going to continue here in just a moment. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We got more things to discuss, including this Oregon Measure 114. Got some other thoughts on where things are going for the election and how Brune is still going to protect us from many of these things. We'll suss some of that out with 114 as well. We'll be back with more. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We return right after this.
What is that?
Common sense. Regularly heard on American radio. Michael Duke Show. Radio.
Okay. We're in the break. All right. Good morning. No sound. You guys should have heard all that. It was blinking up all over the place. I was actually having to throttle it down. Did everybody not have sound? Because that's very sad if that's the case. Because that was a tremendous video. Right after I said Veterans Day, your show audio went off. So you guys are not hearing that. That's weird. So you guys are saying, are you guys not hearing that? You guys not hearing that? So if did you guys just not hear that right there? Facebook had sound. Huh. No sound. Weird. Well, that's odd because that should be, yeah, that should have come right through because I could hear it. I could see it. That's very sad. I might have to play around with that because there'll be times, yeah, that's weird. I don't know why it would not, oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Let me see here. Now that's going to bug me. Nope, that's not what I wanted. You can see it, but you can't hear it. Come back over here. You can see it or you can hear it, but you can't see it. Let me go over here and see if I can. Let's try that. All right, tell me if you can hear this. Did you guys hear that? I just shared the link in the chat room to that video. Sound came back right after the video. Well, it's because I wasn't talking. Still no sound. Well, that's odd. I've never had that problem before. I've shared YouTube video clips and clips from the desktop before. I wonder why. I wonder what's going on, man. This has been it's been this way forever. This is how we've done it forever. Let's try that right there. See what that does. You sound on Facebook. Well, I mean, you can hear me, but you can't hear the video that I'm playing in the background. Here we go. I'm going to start it again. You guys hear any of that? Bunch of troops taking the oath. Did anybody hear that? No, I mean, Politidic, I've been playing stuff, audio off YouTube and off the internet on the show for years. Huh. Well, somebody made an update somewhere inside of the system. I'm going to have to futz around with it now. That's weird. Because maybe because I had to redo the thing there, huh? Try that. Did you guys hear that? Did you hear that? But I was just curious. I got mice in there. Nope. All right. Well, you guys can go watch it on your own. It's amazing. It's amazing. I just posted the link again in the chat room. If you guys want to go watch it, there you go. You can go watch that video. It's very powerful. I skipped through little pieces of it where there's no talking, but the video. Yep. All right. Well, we're going to continue on here. Jump back into it. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense. Liberty. Do we have mice in here? I've got mice. Mice everywhere. Here we go. Jumping back into it. Let's get to it. All right. Oh, somebody said they actually could hear it on. All right. Welcome back to the program. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. It is Firearms Friday. And we are just cruising on through. Coming up in hour 2, we'll be talking with Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion, and Willie Waffle. We're also going to talk a little bit about the ramifications of the pink tinkle. And what does it mean for us, gun owners and gun aficionados, members of the gun culture? But first, let's go over to the phones on this Veterans Day. I'm glad everybody on the radio heard that. Apparently, people who were watching on Facebook and YouTube didn't hear the audio for all that big Veterans Day tribute that I did. That was 4 minutes wasted of dead air. But, hey, that's all good. All good. Let's go over here and see what you guys have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, buenos dias, Mike. Brady from Las Vegas.
Brady, what's on your mind?
Well, I think we're going to have to change Firearms Fridays to Bioweapon Fridays. And I got some really good information, really what started the war in Ukraine and why Vlad went into the Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Is he intercepted messages from the Ukraine Biolab to our government, Department of Defense. They were inquiring into drones that were able to fly 300 miles into Russia, carrying an 80-liter aerosolized venom.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to go disperse that on Russia, and Vlad said, no way. He then went into Ukraine and shut down 46 biolabs.
Right.
They were using mosquito drones, aerosolized and powderized venom.
Okay.
They were going to spray it on the Ukrainians.
So
that's what they did on us that started the COVID problem here. It was never a virus.
Okay. All right. So it's all about Vlad being preemptive and protecting Mother Russia. Of course, had nothing. I mean, he was never in the wrong, Brady, right? He was never in the wrong. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Let's go over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
My name is Harleen in Kodiak. I agree with Bonnie in North Pole. I just heard on Dr. James Dobson, Focus on the Family. It was on from 5:30 to 6 this morning. Lieutenant General Jerry Boykin, he said that the Army is giving $50,000 sign-up bonus to get people into the Army, and that they are waiving a lot of things that you're not qualified for, maybe.
Right. Because they're looking for people.
Sometimes the female.
Yeah.
Yes, people are coming, they're overweight, diabetes comes with that. There's 2 years gender change surgery and hormones that we pay for. And then AIDS. They're keeping people with AIDS, but the religious vaccine exemptions are dumped. And you said just 1 week before graduation, Coast Guard guys were kicked out of the military. And then all branches of the military are at least 15% down. And he said that he played 2 clips. One was an Admiral Benson, a pilot to Vietnam, who did the Morse code, and with Morse code, with blinking his eyes, he played the clip. The man actually spelled out Morse code torture, that people are not learning the code of conduct and what to do and what not to do as a POW. And the other clip was military men in Iran, and they said that they were being treated like guests. I got the impression like they were praising their captors. And what's happening in Kodiak now is the Coast Guard are being dismissed when they don't get the vaccine. So I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we knew this was going to be a challenge for the military, especially for those who couldn't get religious exemptions and everything else. And you knew it was going to be a problem. I don't know what the long-term solution to this is, Carlene, how it will affect American readiness or anything else, but it is troubling, especially since here we are, however many, 2 or 3 years into it now, and people are they've had the vaccine, they've had the boosters, they're still getting the COVID. They're thinking, I've got the COVID for the first time in, how it's been almost 3 years. I almost made it to the 3-year mark before I got it. And it was like, it was like getting the flu. but I didn't have the vaccine, but other people have had it and they keep getting it. And everybody, I mean, again, I don't understand the mandate on top of everything else. But what really worries me is what it does to our readiness. That's what really worries me, Carly.
Exactly.
But I want to say thank you to all the veterans out there for their service and everything that they do. Carly, thank you for calling in today.
Senior center. Sorry.
I'm sorry, you broke up. What was that?
Oh, yesterday at the senior center, I usually take my lunch from the back door and eat it at the beach, but I didn't bring a fork. So I went in and they were honoring our vets with a free meal. And It wasn't just roast beef this time. It was just a beautiful meal. And I just happened to sit. There were 3 vets at the table.
Right.
And because no one wants to tell those stories, they opened up a little bit. Those stories are so horrendous.
Yeah.
You don't talk about those things.
Yeah. No, and a lot of them definitely don't want to talk about their time in service, especially during wartime. Pretty tough stuff, but they got to carry those scars, so we should be thanking them for that. Thank you, Carlene. I appreciate your call. Let's go over here, take some more phone calls. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Michael, how you doing? It's Fred in Rhode Island. How you been?
Hey, Fred. How are you, my friend? What's happening over there on the big East Coast?
Well, I've been a little under the weather for a week. I haven't been able to call in other things, but I'm back.
Well, good. I'm glad.
Anyway, the reason I'm calling today is as a result of the election, instead of having, like you mentioned before, the pink wave instead of the red wave, I think that they're going to be a little emboldened as to continuing on with this so-called gun control, gun safety measures, as they like to put it, which is that's a lot of garbage. I think they're going to be a little more emboldened as to moving on to phase 2, whatever phase 2 involves. But it's just going to be more of an infringement on our Second Amendment rights. So, and eventually it's just going to be an erosion of all of them. I mean, that's the end game. Down with the second, and then the first, and the fourth, and the ninth, and all of it's going to go down. So, I think we have to really step up, and pay attention. And even though they won the election, it's not over. It's definitely not over.
Right.
Because we always have. I mean, as difficult as it could be in a hard road, if they really get out of control, there's always the recall. I know they pull recalls off and they try to rig those elections too. I'm not saying anything was rigged, but then again, I'm not going to rule it out either. I think that's something that we have to be diligent and continue to look at, and roll the stones over and see if the critters are running around underneath.
Right.
Hiding, of course, which they like to do.
Right.
And figure out exactly, and be able to counter them by any means necessary in order to maintain our
well, and I think, Fred, this is what I've said. I think that our the way back towards kind of sanity in these kind of things is what I've been talking about on Firearms Friday, which is we need to reach more into the middle. We need to reach more. We need to quit having this argument over the far left and the far right and screaming at each other and everything else. All the folks in the independents in the middle, they're just kind of fed up with it, right? And so they're just kind of grabbing. We need to reach more into the middle and explain ourselves and to educate folks as to why we do things the way that we do. We need to be understanding. We need to give some history. We need to, be able to learn that art of rhetoric, the logic, rhetoric, reason. We need to be able to debate somebody, and when it's all said and done, still be friendly about it, whether we agree or not. I think that's what we need to do. I think you'll see a lot of that stuff come back around. This politics of personal destruction, I think, is one of the reasons why things keep getting worse and worse. That's just me.
Well, you're spot on. But, a lot of it too, I believe, has to do with the whole, it's only a small majority of the people who are act out in this whole thing. The real hardcore liberal socialist communists, who sit there we somehow weaseled our way into a position to power and now pushing, now driving the bus. And I think that, the bulk majority, there's a lot of Democrats out there that are not on board with this. But then again, they're afraid to go up against the establishment as to be, taken down, ridiculed, rather, look what they're doing to Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin and throw him over his cliff,
Right.
But however, he will stand strong otherwise.
Right.
And I think the bulk majority of people, you say that the middle has to be shown the truth. I think the truth is obvious. I mean, you get, Biden buffoon up there screwing things up royally on a daily basis, and people sit there and say, "This is a good thing." I mean, come on, come on. How can they put up with this green, the Green New Deal project, which is ruinous? How can they sit there and call gun control? It's not gun control; it's violence control. It's criminal control. It's drug control. It's all those things that lead up to where we are today. And it's not the Second Amendment, the peaceful people who own firearms, who support the Second Amendment and the Constitution, who are the problem.
Right.
Never have been the problem, never will be the problem. But then again, the vote majority just have to be conservative Republican.
Right.
They are the enemy. They are the enemy.
Well, because
they are the ones who want to
again,
those little shiny toy.
Guns are the easy target, right? I mean, it's hard to look at all the factors that create people, that create, criminals. What are all the factors that create criminal? Environment, upbringing, social structure, economics. I mean, all those things help contribute to whether or not somebody takes, drugs. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other things. Guns are just the easy knee-jerk reaction. 99.99% of all gun owners in America are lawful, legal, law-abiding citizens. It's that 0.1% that screws it up. That have guns, that are using guns, that are the bad guys. That's what's going on. I mean, you've got a nation of 330 million people with 450, 500 million guns, and your homicide rate is in somewhere around 15,000 people a year. That's a tragedy for 15,000 people, but statistically, it's a very, very small percentage. And yet they act like it happens on every street corner, every day, everywhere around the world. And where is most of this stuff happening? In these major metropolitan areas where they have heavy, heavy laws on all this stuff. I mean, this is not going to stop them. This is not going to stop them over and over and over again.
Well, it's obvious that they're after social control. They're not after guns; they're after social control. And guns are just a means of eliminating any type of opposition to it. And the proof and the pudding of that seems to be that whenever you have two groups of people, one group of people that are doing wrong, and the other side of the people that are doing right, and it's only common sense and reason to believe that they would side with those who are doing the right, who do not create a problem, who do not create crime, who do not assault and harm anyone, but exercise a right for their own self-defense and their own, under the Constitution,
right,
in the Second Amendment, exercising, their own personal protection and their own right to own and keep firearms. And they sit there and they go after the wrong and sit there and we're going to support the wrong and we're just going to take the right. And we have a logic behind that. The only source that comes from it, outside international influence on what they're trying to do to us. That's I think the Soros's, the Bloombergs, the all these clowns, Gates, the rest of these people who are sitting there and they started on with the globalists. The globalists want to destroy us. They want to turn the country into prop it up like a cow.
Remember, this is always.
I think we got to put our foot down and say that is never going to happen.
Fred, remember, this is ultimately always about control. We call it gun control, but really, it's just about control. That's the bottom line, because
people control.
Yeah, it's about people control, because a lot of these folks out there on that side, especially the elitists, believe that the only way society can move forward is with the direct benevolent intervention of government. And what's holding up the direct benevolent intervention of government? All those pesky laws and rights and those people with firearms who would say no. That's what's going on right now. Fred, thank you for your call, my friend. It's good to hear you. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better, and it's good to have you back. We look forward to talking to you again next week. We're going to go and take a quick break here in just a second, and we will be back The Michael Duke Show continues. We're going to talk about, I mean, you want to know how ridiculous some of this stuff is. We're talking about more laws and who do we blame and et cetera, et cetera. A Texas teen social media post has raised some of those questions. We're going to talk about that. And we'll be back in just a moment. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. It is Firearms Friday.
We're broadcasting live through a series of tubes.
Allowing all of these entities to provide streaming stuff going on the internet.
Well, it's kind of hard to explain. Sorry. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. Man, where does Brady get this stuff, huh? I mean, yeah. I think I found where all this stuff came with. I think I found what the problem was. We're going to try this again, and you guys are going to tell me whether or not this you can hear the audio now. They updated my software, and there was a new application thing that I didn't see. Maybe they split it out. So tell me if you can hear this audio.
Raise your right.
Okay, so could you hear that? Could you? Whoa, man, check that out. That's trippy. You could hear that? Okay. I'm making sure. If you guys can hear it. Yes. Okay. Yeah, so apparently when they updated my software, they created a whole new application for anyway. It used to all be included in one thing, and so they changed stuff around. Okay. So, well, why not? I'm just gonna go ahead and we'll do that again, shall we? Shall we do that again? I'll play it for you. Definitely worth the watch. Definitely worth the watch. Here you go. Woof. Yeah. Dang. No sound again. That's weird. It was working. It was working. All right. Well, never mind. This video 4 or 5 times this morning already. I was no sound again. I don't understand. What the hell is going on? Huh. I don't know. Maybe it's because it doesn't want me to play it on. Who knows? Because it was working. They said it was working. You could hear it now. Okay. Never mind. Here we go. All right. Well, I don't know, man. I can't. It's one of those days where things were working and then they weren't, and then they are, and then they're not, and then they are, and then whatever. Okay. One final segment here in this hour. I guess I should just focus on, I just wanted to share something great with the audience on YouTube and Facebook, and I couldn't. I'm a little sad today. All right, well, let's continue on, and we will go over here and take a look at some of the other stories that we've been discussing. All they ever want is, it seems like they, being the powers that be, all they ever want is more gun control. That's always the answer. More gun control. Even in something like in Seattle, right? So they had a shooting in one of their schools. It was a one-on-one kind of thing. First time in 30 years anybody has been a student was shot and killed in a Seattle public school. 14-year-old allegedly smuggled a gun into the school, then shot another student. It was a targeted attack this week. The 14-year-old attacker and another student, 15, have been arrested. On Wednesday, one of the state legislators couldn't pinpoint exactly, his name was Harold, couldn't pinpoint a specific policy response to this incident, but suggested that the state consider a number of approaches, including training requirements, extending waiting periods, and assault rifle bans. This pretty much is the answer to everything all the time. Here's what they said in a written statement. It's too early to know which exact gun safety measures might have prevented this tragedy. The simple fact is there are too many guns in our communities, and those guns are too easy to access. He noted that action will save lives, and inaction too often results in tragedy. So again, let me break this down for you here. A 14-year-old kid gets a gun, despite every state, federal, local mandate against it, in a state that has mandatory storage laws, that has universal background checks and everything else. And the issue is that there just aren't enough gun control laws. And of course, they also said that, we needed an assault weapons ban. But even though the kid smuggled the gun into school, I'm assuming it was a handgun, since it's kind of hard to smuggle an AR-15 into any place like that. Right? So how is a new assault weapons ban going to, because that's what he wanted. He wanted to include training requirements, extended waiting periods, and assault rifle bans. So how exactly is this going to stop, or would it have stopped this? That's the thing. They can never point to a specific thing that would have stopped the incident. Because he's 14 years old. He's not supposed to have a gun. It's all supposed to be taken care of. It's supposed to be locked up and safely stored. It's all these things, and you can't. what? You can't fix it. Now, if you wanted to call for increased school security, that would make sense. More thorough metal detection checks or whatever. But he either obtained this gun from the black market or took it from an adult who, again, this is supposed to be a safe storage state, right? They're supposed to have everything's locked up. So that clearly didn't work. But the fact that, again, look, this isn't about guns. This is, again, trying to legislate evil or insanity. That's what this is about. Trying to legislate evil or insanity. And this is not how you do it. But this is the reaction every time. And this is what they said. Again, this should be a comment that you should take out and be boilerplated and have it printed on a plaque. It's too early to know which exact gun safety measures might have prevented this tragedy. There are just too many guns in these communities, and guns are too easy to access. Really? I mean, you guys have done everything in Washington State just about to prevent, no private transfers. No, you have to have a background check. You have to have mandatory safe storage. In most areas inside Seattle, they've got, magazine capacity things. They got all this. I mean, the issue isn't that there's just not enough gun control. How much is, so what is it? Just a universal outright ban? Hey, this kid wasn't supposed to have any of it. I mean, he's 14 years old. But it's too early to know exactly which gun safety measures might have prevented this tragedy. Yes, none of the ones you mentioned would have prevented that. Because, the assault weapons ban means nothing. The extended waiting period, this kid walked into a gun store and they gave him a gun on the spot? That waiting period would have stopped him from going to school. He was 14 years old. Training requirements. Let me point out, 14 years old. None of what does one have to do with the other? That's like saying, I can't even think of a good analogy. That's like saying, I really like lemonade and tomato juice is red. I mean, what? That's the what? That means nothing. We need training requirements and extended waiting periods and assault rifle bans. This kid was 14. None of those would have applied to him because it was already illegal for him to have a gun. How is that going to help? And then we got the stupid patrol down here in Texas, state of Texas. Some kid on Snapchat showed a picture of a bunch of guns and quoted them as saying school supplies. They began an investigation. They transferred the kid to a youth detention facility, and maybe they caught it ahead of time. Maybe it was a joke. I doubt it. I'm just saying this is not the kind of things that you joke about. Especially in a place like Texas after El Paso and Uvalde and everything else. You don't mess around. But again, stupid kids sometimes. They just do stupid things. Stupid things. And finally, I want to talk about this. There's an editorial in the Albuquerque Journal. And the title of the editorial is Gun Owners Must Help Keep Firearms Out of the Wrong Hands. And just the whole tone of it kind of pisses you off when you first read it. But then as you go further into it, you realize that he may have a point, that we do have a responsibility. As lawful, law-abiding gun owners, we do have a responsibility to make sure that we don't make it easy for criminals to have access, and we might talk about that here in just a little bit. And we still have to talk about Oregon's Measure 114 as well, which is coming out, And it's hanging in the balance. It's like 50.8% to 49.2%. I mean, it's right there hanging in the wind. It may or may not pass. Looks like it probably will, but we'll give you some details on that and what does it mean. And more, plus Chris Cheng and Willie Waffle and all that other stuff. It is Firearms Friday. Oh, the phone lines are open too. Why not? The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. Okay. Yeah. No more hammers. No more whatever. Can hear you, but not the video. I'm so disappointed in all that. I'm so disappointed. I don't know why, because it used to be that you could, you could hear all this stuff all the time, and didn't matter. I had to be careful what I was looking at in the background. I don't know. All right. What else we got here? Yeah, I'll turn that off there. Okay. Kids do stupid things like sex-affirming surgery. Yeah. Uh-huh. I understood the basics of owning a gun. I'm confused, says Gordon. Whoops. There you go. I understood the basics of owning a gun at 12 years of age because my father trained me, would not let me go shoot my gift until I took a hunter safety course. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Right? When has common sense ever applied to to government regulations? Asking for a friend. That's a good question. That's a great question. Is it not? That is a good question. All right. Let's do over there. Turn that over there. And let's see. Okay. All right. I'm going to sneeze here. Oh, it's right there in my nose. You can feel it. Well, Friday, and we're just hanging out and enjoying ourselves. Kind of a relaxing day this morning after a week of struggle. So I appreciate you guys sticking around with us and sticking through that. Interestingly enough, all week with election stuff, we were approaching 100 viewers every day. Every day we were approaching or over 100 viewers. Today we got 35. Just thinking guns are not as big a deal to most people as they are to me. That's just what I'm thinking. Most people just don't care. Safe storage is brilliant as well. Hey, hang on, home invader. Before you rape and murder us and steal our stuff, I have to run to my gun safe. Yeah. Well, I mean, they do make all different kinds of, I think some, if you've got a gun safe for the bulk of your storage, that's a good thing, right? But there's a few, like if you're going to defend your home, you're going to have a few that are out of the gun safe, ready to hand, ready to go, loaded for bear, so to speak. I've never understood that. The number one safety action they could do is take those guns away from criminals. If caught with a gun and a criminal, they get locked up. Not just catch and release. If mental health issues in schools are detected, parents are contacted and help is sought for the child, not kept hidden from them like you do with gender dysphoria. Yeah, I mean, they ought to throw the books at some of these criminals. I mean, felon in possessions, things like that. I mean, if they're violent criminals and they get caught again, with a gun, blah, 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 doing violent stuff, that's when they put you under the jail the second time. No, the student was not shot by an assault rifle because he smuggled it into school. It obviously was a handgun. But don't worry, that legislators got you all squared away. Okay. Thank you to everyone that has served. All right, not hearing anything now. Yeah, I'm sorry I was playing the video. I can't look at the comments and play the video at the same time. That was part of the problem. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. It's in the back of my mind. It's bugging me now. I'm trying to figure out why this doesn't work. I know I shouldn't. I know I'm fixated on it, but it's bugging the absolute hell out of me, and I don't know why. Remove that. Yes, I want to remove that. Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it can't. I don't know why it's not hearing the properties match same title. Windows mass match title. Boom. Okay. All right. Let's see. I don't know if that'll work. Bugging me. So I don't know if you guys can hear that or not, but it's bugging me, man. And it is me. I don't know why. Okay. Don't let your kids join the Underwear Hammer Fight Club. No. Yes, I'm taking calls. All right. Breaking news. Democrats to introduce sweeping legislation declaring all variety of hammers to be assault weapons. Quite possible. Quite possible. Oh, man. You guys have got some good comments. Good comments this morning. All right, you guys can go watch the video for yourself. I'm going to quit farting around with it. I don't understand it. It's irritating me. I'm going to deal with it. We are coming up on our of the Michael Duke Show. Chris Cheng is going to be joining us. I just dropped that video again here this morning in the chat room. So if you want to go take a look at it, you can. Appreciate you coming in and joining us. Let's go. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
Whoa, buddy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere. I don't understand. Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Duke Show. I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday. As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Duke Show.
The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
It's my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms.
Yeah, buddy, Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on issues of a 2A nature right here on this Veterans Day. I would love to play you for my little Veterans Day thingy that I just did, but you'll have to go back, and I've got links up on the Facebook page. There's a great video out there put out by Con-Equip Parts LLC from a couple of years ago. It's a fantastic Veterans Day tribute, and I just want to say thank you to those that served. Thank you to those that served and those that especially gave the ultimate. We appreciate that. So we're just going to continue on. Coming up this hour, Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion, season 4 of Top Shot on the History Channel. He's going to be joining us, and we'll be talking with him here in just a little bit with him. And then we'll be finishing up the show with Willie Waffle for the weekend movie review. But meanwhile, we got other stories and we've got phone calls. So I say let's go to the phones because the phone calls reign supreme. Let's start off over here. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This will be Brian calling you from the Hook.
Mr. C, how are you? What's happening, sir?
Oh, undercasting, overslept. So this is I'm working without loops and I'm getting a lot of echo and I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why. I mean, hey, I don't even know why half this stuff is working the way it's working today. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, my friend, what is?
Okay, well, I'm going to try to ignore my.
Yeah.
I'm going to ignore my echo.
You ignore your
thinking
echo.
Thinking about this thing related to gun storage. I was driving into work the other day, and I can't carry in my office. And occasionally, my day involves going to places where firearms are prohibited. Occasionally, I go to the post office or whatever.
Right.
So my question is, how do you deal with that? What do you do with your weapon when you have to enter a place where you have no right to carry a gun in the place? So what do you do with it? I have a lockbox in the car.
Yeah.
But I've also heard from the United States Concealed Carry Association, you should never leave your gun in the car. So I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a tough situation. I mean, because, and this is kind of what's tough about these patchwork laws is that, you either have to go out unarmed or you have to put yourself at risk of not being in possession of the firearm. And that's a thing. I basically always said, now when I go, if you go to the post office or some federal building or something, I basically said, unless I had to walk to a metal detector, pretty much you should figure out that I'm armed if you see me. That's just kind of the way it is. And you'll never know because you'll never see it. But if you have to disarm, then yes, a lockbox in your vehicle. And there are a variety of different things. There's the lock boxes that lock to that you can mount onto the frame of your, or, through the floor pan of your truck or your car or whatever. And that makes them a lot more secure. There's actually vehicle lock boxes. And you shouldn't have these. Brian, do you get all these videos or these ads on Facebook where these guys have got these lock boxes like right in the middle of their consoles, like right out for everybody, for God and everybody to see? Do you get those videos all the time?
Not all the time, but I have seen.
Yeah, because that just irritates me. I mean, first of all, concealed means concealed, even if you're storing it in your vehicle. So yes, if I'm storing it in my vehicle, I'm putting it in a locked container, probably out of sight, more than likely in the back of my car, because I usually only would disarm if I'm going into like the post office or something, in which case I probably have packages. So I have to go to the back of my car and unpack them everywhere. And I surreptitiously put the gun into a lockbox in the back of the car underneath everything. And we're good to go. Right. But you're right. That's the problem. They've created this conundrum where you either have to decide to not wear your gun on a daily basis because your day is interrupted occasionally by these places where you can't go, or you have to disobey the law to try and keep the firearm with you to keep it safe. And that's a challenge.
Which is exactly contrary to the fact that concealed carry holders are among the most law-abiding.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, concealed carry holders commit crimes at a rate lower than police officers, right? I mean, that's statistically across the nation. They are more law-abiding than police officers. Police officers commit crimes more often than concealed carry holders, but they treat us all like somehow we're immediately going to go mad and shoot everybody up. That's the reaction, which is just, it's nonsense. And again, it's one of the reasons why I said, for the most part, if you see me, you could pretty much figure out that I'm armed. That's, because that is the safest thing. Leaving it in your car. I've had a gun stolen out of my car. 25, 30 years ago, I had a gun stolen out of my car. And it was one of the most frustrating and irritating things because it was specifically on one of those things where you couldn't take it into a certain location. And people know that. Bad guys, I mean, they're cunning. They may not always be smart, but they're cunning. They know if I'm going to go look for a place that has a gun, I'm going to go to a bank or a post office or someplace where we know that they have to disarm to go inside.
Fred Meyer's parking lot.
Yeah. Well, Fred Meyer's parking lot. I mean, I'll be honest, I've never even bothered to disarm at Fred Meyer's, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Any place where the average person would be like, well, they say I can't, so I'll just put it in my console here. And, you know, a criminal in 15 minutes could probably find a gun at any one of those locations. And so you're right. USCCA and many others have said the best place to secure your firearm is on your person. That's the best answer.
Right. Well, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you calling in. Sorry about the echo. I don't know what's going on, but we'll see if we can figure it out. Appreciate you being a part of it today. 907-433-3150. 907-433-3150. If you would like to sound off, we'd love to hear from you this morning. Phone lines are open. We're taking your calls and seeing what you guys want to say about. And does locking it in your vehicle constitute locking it up? No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. All right, let me go over to this story that I've been wanting to talk about, which is about Oregon ballot measure number 114. Ballot measure number 114, still technically up in the air. 50.8 to 49.2, but there's still ballots coming in from Multnomah and Washington counties where support for 114 is running pretty high. Now, this bill would change a lot of things, including it would make it, it would create a magazine capacity ban, anything holding more than 10 rounds. The good news is that many sheriffs inside Oregon have basically said that they have no plans to enforce the magazine bans as they go. 114, often referred to as the Reduction of Gun Violence Act, is a good one. Oh, I forgot to send Chris a link this morning. You know what? I'm a horrible person. We're gonna talk with him about that here in just a second. Let me send Chris a link because I'm a horrible person. This is what happens when you when you're trying to deal with getting COVID for the first time and doing all that stuff. But Oregon Measure 114 basically would create a permit system and registry where you had to have a permit before you could even own a firearm, which we know on its face is probably blatantly unconstitutional to begin with. And it's going to fail under the Brune decision. Plus, there are now the sheriffs, including the Lynn County Sheriff, who said they are not going to enforce the 10-round magazine. And in fact, Lynn County Sheriff Michelle Duncan said she has no plans to enforce it and says ballot measure 114 creates a required permitting system in order to purchase firearms and bans all gun magazines capable of holding more than 10 rounds. This is a terrible law for gun owners, crime victims, and for public safety. I want to send a clear message to Lynn County residents that the sheriff's office is not going to be enforcing magazine capacity limits. And she says, I will ensure anything we do or don't do will not hinder gun owners' rights to purchase firearms intentionally or unintentionally. So even though the major cities seem to be pushing a lot of this stuff, the counties at least seem to be paying attention on that. All right. We are getting ready to jump in. Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion, season 4, with us, and he joins us this morning via video. He's in the chat room. Hello, Mr. Cheng. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How about yourself? I heard a little something about COVID or something. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I finally kept dodging the bullet, but apparently I finally picked it up on last Sunday or something, and so I'm back. I mean, now I'm back. I feel like I'm 100% better. But yeah, Monday, Tuesday was an interesting day. It was an interesting week. Let's put it that way. A little rough around here. So
I'm glad to have
we're
you
good.
back. Yeah,
How's
just rest and hydrate, and yeah, here we are.
Yeah, no. I mean, I never quit. It's just it's a little tough to do a radio show when you have a hard time stringing two sentences together because your brain is all fuzzy. You know what I mean? But that's nothing new for people who listen to this show. I mean, that's just another average day on the show. So, Chris, I mean, let's first, before we go to break here, we got about 3 or 4 minutes here. I guess I should get your reaction from the pink tinkle, which is the, kind of the response to the red wave. It wasn't a red wave; it was a pink tinkle. So, what do you think, and what are the ramifications for gun owners and the gun movement here in America, especially after we thought that that's where we were coasting to, and it was going to be a safe space for a little bit? What are your thoughts on the reaction to that and what you're seeing already?
Yeah, obviously, American politics, it's a strange and interesting time. For me, I think at the federal level, with the Supreme Court's decision in the Bruin case, that to me has been the most impactful thing to happen with respect to furthering gun rights. The mixed results of the midterm elections, I think we'll continue to see varying anti-gun initiatives at the state level, right, and on the local level as well. But I think the Bruin decision gives us a lot of not just air cover, but ground cover. It's, what we're seeing is a lot of local and state politicians trying to pass anti-gun laws that immediately get challenged in court. The Bruin decision gets cited, and many of these anti-gun bills get shut down as unconstitutional. So I think that trend will continue.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing it. We were just talking about Oregon's ballot measure 114. I don't know if you've seen this or if you're familiar with it, since it's a neighboring state there. But a lot of the provisions of this are, I mean, just blatantly on their face, not only unconstitutional, but run counter to Bruin almost immediately. I mean, basically, it says right here that you will not be able to purchase a firearm without a state authorized permit. This is the whole FOID thing that they were dealing with in Chicago that just got overturned in and of itself. You should not have to pass a purity test or beg the government's permission to exercise a right. And that's what this is about. And that's what Bruin was laying out and saying.
Exactly. So, Oregon's a pretty shocking state. I'm in California, and, I always looked to the north to Oregon and Washington as quote unquote free states. But the political trends have been changing over the past decade in particular, and they're no longer safe havens for gun owners.
No, it's the out. I got to tell you this, Chris. It's the outflow from California. Okay, you guys are.
I agree.
That out migration from California, you can see it. It's germinating. It's like a fungus. It's going. We've seen it in Colorado and Oregon and Washington and parts of Idaho. And you're just like, wait a second, whoa. These are supposed to be the free states, not the People's Republic is kind of spreading out there. But you're right. I mean, that whole thing has kind of continued to turn. And I don't know why. California and New Jersey and other states can see what the SCOTUS had said in this argument, and yet they're still putting up laws that are like, go ahead, poke it down. We know it's wrong. We know you're going to have to fight it. We know citizens are going to be hurt by it, but it doesn't matter because we're going to stand up to you on it. And I don't understand that mentality. Do you?
I think the anti-gunners are lashing out. I think that's just a natural reaction to something you disagree with and that you don't accept, right? Clearly, these anti-gunners do not accept the Bruin decision, so they are angry, they're lashing out, and they're just going to throw the kitchen sink at us. And obviously, the Bruin decision is this it's like this freedom disinfectant that is clearing out a lot of the gun control cruft that we've seen build up over the past decades. So we're going to obviously at some point our country, right, we'll move on, right, from the Bruin decision, and we're going to see, more and more gun rights come our way. And we'll also, there's lots of other gun control cases being challenged and hopefully make their way up to the Supreme Court, and will hopefully be overturned in favor of the Second Amendment. So it's going to be another.
Well, like you and I said, like you said last time we talked, that I think Bruin is the beginning of the dismantling of many of the more onerous gun control laws out there. And we're going to continue to see, it's going to be ripples. I mean, this is going to be a long-term thing. This is not an overnight deal for sure. We're going to continue here with Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion from season 4 of Top Shot, author of the book Shoot to Win. We're going to talk with him about other things when we return, get his latest update, and we'll be back with more of the Michael Dukes Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio.
Michael Dukes Show. Why not take a quick break? Be right back. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
All right. Chris champion, season 4. Yeah, I got to be honest, buddy. I mean, I thought, I must be immune. I don't know. I thought it was good. 3 years, almost 3 years. And I don't know. One of my kids brought it home and finally caught it from them. And the next thing you know, now everybody in the house has had it over the last 3 weeks. So now everybody's immune from now on, or for the short term or whatever. But
yeah,
definitely all the hubbub is about. How about you? What's new in your world? What should we be talking about when we come back? You got some new things happening? Give us an update here.
Yeah, let's see. I think with APA GOA, this is the Asian Pacific American Gun Owners Association gun rights group that I'm on the board for. We're making really great strides around partnering with the firearms industry, starting to tee up a great calendar of events for 2023 where APA GOA members and anybody who's interested in, you don't have to be Asian American to join APA GOA, but you can come to our events. You can see another slice of the gun community, and APA GOA is something I'm very excited for 2023. The other thing is the National Shooting Sports Foundation and I recently wrapped up a multi-day filming of new shooter videos. So this is directly addressing the over 12 million new gun owners, right, that we've seen in an 18-month period. It's unprecedented. And as we all know, buying a gun is literally the first step, right? You need to train yourself, right? Get educated about firearm safety and education. So these videos from me and the NSSF are directly speaking to those new shooters.
I'm excited about that, although I'm a little thrown. 12 million new gun owners, and you figure every one of them has to buy at least 2 boxes of ammo. You wonder why there's an ammo shortage. 2 billion people buying 100 rounds each. That's only 1 billion rounds. I mean, come on. I mean, I'm sure we can make that up overnight, right? I mean, it's going to be fine. But yeah, we've got to teach these folks what to do. We got to give them a reason. We got to give them, give them purpose and teach them that this is a responsibility. I was just going over a story that, and I guess you can comment on this real quickly here. There was a piece in the Albuquerque Journal that was an editorial saying, gun owners, you got to keep your firearms out of the wrong hands. And I was a little torqued off by the tone of it. But in the end, he laid out some actual points talking about, the number of guns stolen from vehicles and stolen from homes. We were just having a conversation with a caller about, what do you do when you have to go into a post office, or what do you do when you go into and they kind of created this dichotomy where you either have to decide not to go forth armed, or you have to separate yourself from your firearm, which is the most unsafe thing that there is, even if it's in a lockbox or in your vehicle or whatever. I mean, this is a challenge. This is a real troubling thing, but we have a responsibility as gun owners to make sure that we are in full control as much as possible of those firearms at any given time.
Indeed. And, control, right, whether that means on our person or, locked and secured in a safe. Maybe it's a safe in your car, right, in your home, in your office. But, right, it is, it is the personal responsibility of the individual gun owner to be aware of and make sure that your firearm is secure at all times. And clearly, no gun owner wants their firearm to be stolen or used in the commission of a crime or God forbid, kill someone. So, that always hangs heavy on my mind, right? With my firearms,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm always making sure that my guns are secure. I know exactly where they are. I have, security cameras, tracking devices out on all my firearms, my portable gun safes. It's like, I'm obsessive about knowing the status of all my firearms. And, and I would encourage, right, other gun owners to have a similar mindset, right, of being vigilant about safety, security, and that extends right to your firearms and making sure that they're in a safe condition and that they're physically secure. Again, whatever that means to you, whether it's concealed carry on your person and also in a safe, etc.
All right, we're going to jump back in here. Chris Cheng is our guest. Thanks for your insight on that. I agree. I mean, I think this is a tough situation, something we need to talk about more. Let's get back to it, The Michael Duke Show. Continuing now with Chris Cheng, Top Shot champion from season 4 of the History Channel show Top Shot, and of course, author of the book Shoot to Win, tips and tricks for the beginning shooter. And of course, he's worked with NSSF and of course the APA, as the Asian Pacific American Owners Association, which we're going to talk about. But right before we get to that real quick, we were just talking about Brian, our previous caller, had said, what do you do when you have to go into these places? And you started talking about, yes, you're paranoid about making sure your guns are safe because you're worried about them being used to hurt somebody. And I agree with that. But you mentioned something that Brian in the chat room said, tracking devices. I hadn't even considered that. And I'm like, yeah, okay. So you actually is these RFID chips? Is that what you're talking about in your gun safes
Apple
or gun
AirTags,
bags? Or
you buy a 4-pack of Apple AirTags for $100. Yeah, throw an Apple AirTag into a gun safe. There's another little trick on the pistol grip of an AR. Sometimes there's a hollow cavity in the pistol grip, so you can slot an Apple AirTag right into that that little gap there.
Right.
You plug it up with some some tape or whatever. So being able again, right, to utilize not all technology is bad, right, and so leveraging some technology sometimes, right, to keep track of personal firearms and is a good thing. And also you have security camera in my gun safes, so I get notified whenever there's motion inside my gun safe, right, for example. So and there's lots of other, you could obviously go many levels above this.
You could take it down too far, but at some point you do have to take, I think that what we were come to is that you have to take responsibility for your firearms. It's one of the duties of a firearms owner to make sure that those guns are as safe as they can be, and that you've done everything you can do to make sure that they're not easily
and there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat here, right? There's no singular correct way to do this. It's a matter of doing something, right, to secure your firearms. And I would say most importantly, it's the mindset. It's the mentality, right, of knowing that I, as the gun owner, am personally and solely responsible for the security of my personal firearms. So I think that's probably the most important part, because then everything else emanates from having that safety and security mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Cheng, we were talking about the new series of videos that you've just shot with the National Shooting Sports Foundation. Your book, of course, Shoot to Win, is basically targeted towards beginning shooters. Always a good starting point. And I know you've gone through just a recent revision, if I'm not mistaken, or you're going through a revision of your book. But now you've got the shoot. So tell us about the book, and then tell about from the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Shoot to Win is my book for the new pistol, rifle, or shotgun shooter, and it focuses on all the fundamentals of marksmanship that helped take me from self-taught amateur to pro shooter for Bass Pro Shops, and winning Top Shot in the middle of all that. So Shoot to Win, a fantastic book, and these videos that I filmed with the National Shooting Sports Foundation are a free complement and enhancement to the book Shoot to Win. This new set of videos that'll be coming out over the next few months is speaking directly to the 12 million new gun owners that we've seen in our country over the past 18 months. You know, buying your firearm is just the first step in the journey. You have to train and educate yourself on firearm safety, all the fundamentals of marksmanship, so you understand how to safely operate and own these tools. And so these NSSF videos are speaking directly to these first-time gun owners, making sure that they are comfortable going to a gun range, to their gun store and asking about training, right? And not being afraid of saying, I'm a new shooter, I need help, can you help me, right? Just making sure that these new gun owners understand that they have the support of 100 million American gun owners, right? And we're here to be helpful, right? They bought their first gun, but they need to not just train right now, but they will need to continue training in perpetuity for as long as they own and use their firearm.
Right, exactly. Where do folks find the NSSF videos now?
Right now, there is a website. It's nssf.it/TopShotChris. nssf.it/TopShotChris will take you to their YouTube channel, which has the previous set of videos that we did about 8 years ago. And so, yeah, again, the new videos will be coming out soon over the next few months. And I'll, of course, be posting them on my social media at TopShotChris on YouTube and other social media outlets.
Nice. We're down to the last couple minutes here. So the Asian Pacific American Gun Owners Association, you said they've got some new things coming up. You don't have to be Asian or Pacific Islander Americans to join the organization, but you got a calendar coming up. What are some of the things you guys are going to be focusing on, and where do folks find out more about that?
Yeah, so we're taking a look right at 2023 and planning the year's events out. And this next year in 2023 is going to be focused more on in-person events, right? The pandemic was, obviously, challenging in all sorts of ways, but we want to get back right to regularly scheduled business, and let's meet in person, right? And it's not just about going shooting, which is obviously something we all love, but it is about us, right, as people, right, and connecting with like-minded individuals who are pro-Second Amendment, who understand the need to own a firearm for personal protection and self-defense. And we want to have in-person events. It'll probably be through California, maybe Texas and New York, tri-state area, and also food. Asians love food, so be sure that food will probably be some kind of focus at APA-GOA events. Anybody who's interested in becoming a member and joining APA-GOA can go to our website, apagoa.org. It's a standard affordable annual membership. Stay in touch, share APA-GOA with your friends, and if you can, come to our events. They're a lot of fun. I'm at many of them, of course. If you want to come say hi to me, please do.
I'd love to do it. Good thing I hate food. I mean, it's a good thing I hate food. It'd be bad. Chris Cheng, Top Shot Champion Season 4. My friend, as always, it's great to see you. I'm glad things are going well. Have a happy Thanksgiving, sir. We will see you next month. All right. Folks, that's it for this hour, this segment. Willie Waffle coming up. The Michael Duke Show. Common Sense Radio.
Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay. What's going on, man? All right. Let me. I got to fix something here. Something else is broken. It's been a morning for broken stuff. What the heck, man? What? The actual, never mind. Okay, there we go. How about that? Yeah, we'll copy that. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm trying to fix something that's broken in Fairbanks. And there we go. Okay. So final thoughts on gun stuff here before we run over to do Willie Waffle stuff and talk about the real things that we're interested in this weekend. Is Wakanda forever. Wakanda forever. Does California have something like the Second Amendment in its constitution? Alaska has it in its constitution. I don't know if California does or not. I know several states have a version of the Second Amendment baked into their constitution. I do not know if California does or not. I had to stop doing chores and sit down. You just said you hate food. You know you go to hell for lying. What? Are you saying that I like food? It's never. Look at my trim physique. I don't like food. It's just fuel for the body. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I love it. Man, I love Asian food. I don't know why. Korean? Yes. Thai? Yes. Japanese? Yes. Chinese? Yes. Vietnamese? But everything else? Yeah. Yeah. Let me see. Unfortunately, many gun owners can be extremely toxic. Yeah. Daniel, there are many gun owners, just like there in every other group or whatever you want to call it, demographic. There are many that can be toxic in those demographics. There's bad people everywhere. It happens. But I mean, I don't know. When you say many, is it, I mean, not a majority, obviously. There's bad apples in every barrel. We should be calling those people out. You know, many gun owners can be toxic. Many gun owners can treat new gun owners, old time gun hands are like, that's why this show, we've always tried on this show to demystify the firearm. We've always tried to make it so that it was, more approachable, more accessible. That's why gun Q&A, there's no such thing as a dumb gun question, because some people, they ask a question at a gun store and they get laughed out of the store by the old hands, that's, you don't need that, Yeah, to new gun owners in particular. That's why we've always done there's no such thing as a dumb gun question on Firearms Friday. Because how else are you supposed to learn? Everybody started somewhere. I mean, even these great gun hands, none of them were born with the inbred knowledge of firearms. They had to learn it somewhere. And if somebody's willing to come in and learn and ask questions, we should be celebrating that and not treating them poorly. So it does happen. It does happen, Daniel. I'm not going to disagree with you. There are people like that, and it's unfortunate because they are the ones that are screwing it up for everybody else. That's the fact. That is the fact. We should be as kind and as genuine and as helpful as we can be for all of those people. There's also toxic hammer carrier people. Man, people are really all over this assault hammer thing, aren't they? I mean, this is a thing. I didn't realize how much of a thing it was until just recently. All right. Let's see. The way Alaskans voted a con was probably a bad idea, even though I voted yes. I disagree. I think a con was still a good idea. I think that basically Alaskans bought they bought into the fear. That's what happened. They bought into the fear, and that's just the nature of it. It's sad, but that's what happened. I mean, it's not surprising since they were outspent 100-1, on the con. I mean, I had friends who I know are smart people come up to me and say, well, we can't do the con because they'll take away our guns and they'll take away our hunting and the development. And I'm like, whoa, let me explain this to you. And once you explain it to them, they're like, oh, Yeah. That's what happens when you have millions of dollars being poured out there in fear mongering. That's what happens. And, well, I just got more to, phone's buzzing, dings happening. Time to jump back into it. Here we go. The Michael Duke Show, common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Oh, man, the weekend's here. I'm feeling almost human. I mean, like quasi-semi-human, but I'm a reasonable facsimile anyway. So maybe I'll relax this weekend a little bit. All right. I know what I'm going to be doing for sure is I'm going to be watching some good TV this weekend. And to help me through that is my buddy, Willie Waffle, waffleboost.com. Good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm just glad to hear your voice again.
It's so glad to be, never mind. Yeah, it's just, hey, the COVID still got me hanging on a little bit. The brain is still not.
A little foggy.
Little fuzz on the apple there.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this quickly. I want to get into the entertainment news because we still got to talk about Wakanda Forever, which is coming up here at the end of the thing. But first, I guess we'll start with Chris Rock. He didn't get slapped. No, he's doing something unique and live. What?
Yes, this is really cool. So this is kind of late breaking news. It was just announced late yesterday in the afternoon. Chris Rock is going to air a comedy show on Netflix. Now you're probably going, wait a minute, that's not so special. He's done that before. Oh, I forgot to tell you, it's going to be live on Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah.
Like no net. This is it right here.
Yeah, and this is one of the first things that they have ever broadcast, or in this case, streamed live on Netflix. And this is really being seen as Netflix dipping their toe into the water because, Amazon Prime has football live, and Disney Plus has Dancing with the Stars and things live. And Netflix is realizing they need to keep up with the Joneses here. And matter of fact, two things come to mind. Number one is that there's always been speculation that Netflix would be perfect for airing like a reality TV show that had a competitive edge to it, like Dancing with the Stars, because people could vote live through Netflix for what they want to win.
Exactly.
So that's been considered something really cool. The other thing that's out there right now, and this is the thing that I'm really excited about, and I really want to see how this plays out. The NFL Sunday ticket package is going to be on the market after this season. And Apple has been considered the front runner to get it, but Netflix isn't going to go down without a fight. And so wouldn't it be amazing if this is the first broadcast live as a way to tell the NFL, hey, we could broadcast your games live.
We could do it.
We're ready to go.
We can handle it. All right. When's it coming, this new Chris Rock?
So this is going to be early 2023, undated right now. I would assume, if I know Netflix, maybe sometime near the Oscars.
Great. Okay. All right. Let's move on. HBO and Westworld. Now, I'll be honest with you. I only got through the first two seasons, and I don't know why I didn't go back. It was good. I really enjoyed it, but for some reason I didn't go back, and it's on my list to watch eventually, but they got some bad news for me now, right?
Yeah, you're not going to see another season. If you were hoping for season number 5, maybe you need to sit down for a minute. Yeah, because Westworld has been canceled after 4 seasons, and it turns out, Mike, that you were like most people. You didn't go back after season 2, and so did many people.
Ow.
There was a lot of talk about why was this canceled. Well, if you look, the ratings have declined every single year. When it premiered, they had 12 million viewers. In the last season, they had 4 million viewers. it kind of costs a lot of money to make it. Some people have estimated that the last season cost $160 million to make it.
Okay.
And with HBO Max soon on the way out, and the new owners of HBO looking to save money, Westworld was inevitable that they would be a victim.
Now, is
of
the
budget.
is the fourth season out, or are they going to be able to wrap it, or?
No, that's the thing. The fourth season's already out.
Oh, so
and HBO left this hanging for a few months, and the producers and the creators of the show said that they really want to wrap this up. Like, they would love to get a chance to like do a short season or maybe just do a movie.
Right.
HBO's not against doing movies. They're doing another Deadwood. They're doing a Deadwood movie, and that's been off the air for like a few years.
Oh, like a dozen years. It's over 10
yeah,
years. Yeah. So
yeah. So they're hoping to talk HBO into one last big movie. I don't know. I don't think they're in the mood to spend the money right now. So
well,
see.
we'll have to see. I mean, it was a pretty good flick. Now I guess I'll have to go back and watch all four and then be disappointed when it ends on a cliffhanger. Oh well, that happens all the time. All right. So what else we got? I'm going to skip the Oscars story because let's face it, everyone's skipping the Oscars and it really doesn't matter.
Ouch.
Oh, you saw that one coming. Yeah.
Ouch. Oh, cutting.
I know.
Cutting.
I know. Who cares? It's the Avatar. Avatar 2. Speaking of who cares, Avatar 2. I still have never seen the first one. This one though, I'm going to see it even less because it's longer. I don't know how that math works, but you fill me in here.
Yeah, you talk about something that's going to need to be cut. Avatar 2 is clocking in right now at 3 hours and 10 minutes when it premieres a month from now. And now this is the part that I really love. So they were asking James Cameron, like, well, why is it a half hour longer than the first one? Why is it 3 hours and 10 minutes long? And he said, because in the first one, quote, they didn't focus on emotion and relationships. And this one is going to be more about the characters.
Okay. All right.
This cannot be a good thing. I stand by my prediction. Avatar 2 will be a bomb. I think that they're going to regret it. They already have plans. Like there's literally a two-pronged plan here. If Avatar 2 does well, they already know they're doing Avatar 3, and then they'll do more. If Avatar 2 kind of bombs, they're going to end it with 3. Like that's already the
wait a second.
Plan.
So if
that's
two bombs, we're going to another one just because it's already contracted.
Well,
I mean,
it's already pretty much done.
Oh,
I see. The problem, because the way Cameron did the shooting and a lot of it is computer generated. They have made most of 3 already.
Wow. Okay. Well, again, that'll be 3.5 hours of my life that I'll save by not going to see that. That's fine. Let me tell you where I'm going to spend that 3.5 hours though.
Where's that?
On the brand new John Wick series.
Oh my God.
You know me. Come on.
Man.
I know you think John Wicks are all 2 waffle movies, but that's because you, my friend, are not a gun nerd, and these movies are awesome. And now there's a brand new spinoff coming up.
Yeah, so you're going to have the series that we've heard about, kind of the history of the Continental Hotel, and now they've announced a spin-off movie, and it will be called Ballerina, featuring, this is what's going to get me to watch a John Wick movie again. Not that I haven't seen the other ones, but now I'm going to see this one with excitement, starring Ana de Armas as the ballerina, an assassin who's seeking the people who murdered her family.
Oh, see, she's doing it for the right reasons. John Wick just killed a bunch of people because of his dog, but this was her family, so that's why she became an assassin. A ballerina.
It was a hell of a dog.
It's true. It's true. Ian McShane comes back. He's the manager of the Continental, right? So
yep, he will be there, and they are negotiating with Keanu Reeves to make some sort of appearance. I think that they will probably pay him a handsome sum to make another appearance. Now, John Wick 4 is coming out in March of next year. year, and this one is slotted to come out probably later in the year, maybe a little bit closer towards Thanksgiving or Christmas time.
It's a good time to be a John Wick fan, is what you're saying.
It really
It's
is.
a good time to be a John Wick fan. I just saw the latest drop. I get the text messages because I signed up for the text alerts. And they dropped the latest trailer, and it was like, oh, yeah, baby, I can't wait. That's going to be good. All right, good stuff. All right, so that is, I guess that's all the entertainment stuff. Let's move over to Falling for Christmas. Lindsay Lohan makes her big comeback. And
oh God,
what was that? I'm sorry. Did you?
Oh God!
Is it that bad? All right.
Oh, bah humbug, baby. That's. I mean, listen,
oh, really? Is it good?
Yeah,
bad,
yeah. You're right. So this is basically Lindsay Lohan's comeback movie. It is a Christmas movie on Netflix as the Christmas movie wars begin. Okay, it's Hallmark versus Netflix versus like Lifetime, right? And
the Oxygen channel, the thing.
Yes,
yeah, I mean,
and so hey, Netflix, they come gunning with the big guns, baby, and they brought Lindsay Lohan back, and listen, if you love these like Hallmark Christmas movies, oh, this one's for you. Oh, you're gonna just think it's great. I mean, come on, it's got everything that you're looking for. It's got the predictable story that you've seen played out 5 million times. You're gonna wrap yourself up in it like a soft, warm, fluffy blanket. Okay. And then for the rest of us, oh God, it's not okay. Listen, it's bad, but it's not horrendous.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Now here's the story. Tell me if you've heard this one before.
Yep.
So she's a spoiled hotel heiress.
Oh no.
Who is getting engaged to her fabulous social media influencer boyfriend, but there's an accident and she falls down the ski slope and she has amnesia when a hunky guy who wears a lot of flannel rescues her and takes her back to his less modest ski lodge that's suffering financially. And of course, his family is suffering as well. And will maybe those two be able to fill the void in each other's lives?
Seriously, amnesia. I mean,
yes,
like,
amnesia.
Oof, man. Let me pull out that card index. Look for trite plot lines. There you go. Drawer number 3. Which one is it? Oh, yes, the heiress with amnesia.
This movie was put together like a Mad Lib, okay? It's just like, okay, let's give her amnesia. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, 8-year-old kid. Yes, he's got a kid. And she's cute as a button. Yes, let's do that.
Oh, man. All right, -1 to 4 waffles. Falling for Christmas on Netflix. Go ahead.
1.5 waffles. 1.5.
Unless you're a Hallmark fan, in which case it's a 4 waffle movie.
Oh, yeah. It's like everything you've been waiting for all year long.
All right, I can't take it anymore. Let's move on to Marvel movies. Now, this is my least favorite part of the franchise, I'll be honest with you, but I'm interested. Wakanda Forever. Hit me with it.
Well, this is a really interesting movie because it's a movie that very brilliantly, I think, parallels what's been happening in the franchise. In the movie, they're facing the death of Black Panther, of T'Challa, who was played by Boseman, Chadwick Boseman, and the movie is really about reacting to that. King is dead. What are they going to do? All these people are in despair and heartbreak, and they're trying to figure out who will be the new leader of Wakanda when they face a challenge from somewhere outside of Wakanda. See, people think that they can take advantage of the weakness right now and maybe steal the vibranium that they have, but when it becomes clear that they're going to stand up to those fights, another group emerges because America goes searching for another supplier of vibranium. Maybe it's out there someplace else. And they discover an underwater civilization. And boy, those people are like the anti-Wakandans. Okay, they are angry people, and
very angry.
And they think they can team with the Wakandans and just wipe out the rest of the planet. And that's when the war begins, because Wakanda's like, no, man, we don't play that.
Yeah, we don't. We're the good guys. We're not.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not your evil, pointy-eared guys. We're the good guys.
That's right.
What? Give me a storyline. What do you think here?
I really am. I'm a big fan of these. I'm a big fan of the story. I love Angela Bassett in this movie is absolutely fantastic. The Queen of Wakanda. T'Challa's mother. Really rising up, and you see her like just unleashing some of the great moments you're going to see in a movie this year as she's fighting and standing up for the country. And I love what they do with Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, Black Panther's little sister.
Right.
We're going to see her grow, and we loved her in the first movie. The tech genius, the smart kid, but now she needs to be something a little bit more, and that's what's going to make Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
And of course,
important.
this all teases the whole thing about Submariner and everything. I mean, right? This is the whole thing,
this
right?
is all out there, and yes, I will tell you, we will have a new Black Panther emerge. Just the question is, who will it be?
Who will it be now? All right, -1, 2, 4 waffles for Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
I'm going 3.5 waffles. I think you got a real winner here. I love it.
Really?
Did I mention Julia Louis-Dreyfus is here playing the head of the CIA?
Oh, no.
And stealing every scene she's in?
Oh, my gosh.
Every one of them.
I'll be honest with you, Black Panther was my least favorite Marvel movie simply because I found some of the kind of the primitive tech versus some of it was stretched my belief level to a certain extent, but I'm interested to watch it, especially for the whole Submariner aspect of it, which I'm excited about. So,
and I'm going to throw out there, there's going to be a scene during the credits.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, this one is massive. It is extremely important that you see this scene. And there's only the one.
All right.
So, stick around for the one and then run for the men's room.
Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. Folks, we're out of time. We'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Sorry, I was getting closer. I want to cut you off.
Totally understand.
Yeah,
totally understand.
So it's a big scene, is what you're saying. Don't go get a new refill of popcorn.
No, you got to see this one. I mean, just whatever you have to do, just hold it. Just hold it. Just think of dry deserts, whatever it needs to be.
Yeah.
All right, because if you miss this scene, you're gonna be hating life.
All right, and that's out now, obviously, and people can go check it out, and we'll see what happens. All right, Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. I will say that I started Obi-Wan Kenobi this week.
Yeah,
because I was a sickie, and so I spent some time on the couch, and I thought, I'll just wait. Not bad so far. A little moody. Come on, in the beginning.
I think it gets better though. I think that by the time you get to like episode 3 or 4, you're going to be much more hooked.
Yeah. The precociousness of the young Leia it's almost too much. It's funny, but it's almost too much.
It is.
And the Inquisitor, boy, she's angry. She's really angry.
She is awesome. She is awesome. And I don't know why there were some fans that just like had a problem with her. I'm like, dude, what is wrong? She's like this awesome villain. What's wrong with you?
No, she's definitely invested in the I am angry and about to take revenge on everyone. I mean, it's just like, dang, sister. I don't know what he did, but it was obviously bad. So
it was very, very bad.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll revisit on this later on. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com. Thank you, my friend. Good to talk with you.
Hey, you got it. Next week we're going to talk about a lot of Christmas stuff, so be ready.
What are we, 5 weeks away now? 5 weeks away? 6 weeks away?
I just talk about what they put out, man.
I know. All right, thanks. Folks, we'll see you Monday. Have a great weekend.
We've shed our terrific skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.